What's good with it, Black Goose TV family? Double salute as always. Your boy Fluence Boxing is back in the building again with some more Fluence Boxing news from my family members. Look, we finna be talking about Tyson Fury. We're gonna be talking about Anthony Joshua. We're gonna be talking about Bob Arum having some choice words for Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren supposedly saying, "Yo, this is the deadline. If we don't get back that signed contract by this deadline, this fight is done, and we moving on." And we're gonna be taking another fight around that same time. Which remember what Fluence told y'all, Black Goose TV family. I said if the AJ fight doesn't happen, actually before the AJ fight was even reported, I predicted Tyson Fury to fight Derek Chisora late this year, November or December. And I'm telling y'all this right now. Let me say that one more time. I'm telling y'all this right now. If AJ versus Tyson Fury does not happen, they got Derek Chisora sitting in the background waiting. He's in their back pocket right now. I'm telling you that right now. Okay, now with all that being said, I also want to put this out here too. Eddie Hearn's catching a lot of smoke this past week, man. He's catching a lot of smoke. What do I mean by that? Check out the other videos I dropped when it comes to those reported pay-per-view numbers that has been put out there by DAZN. Man, you got people like Leonard Ellaby, Steven Espinoza, Dan Rafael coming at, my guy Eddie Hearn coming at DAZN saying, man, y'all on some bullshit. These numbers ain't factual. These numbers ain't accurate. Y'all being real vague on how y'all reporting stuff to make it seem like y'all really did some great shit when you didn't. Now, if y'all want the details on that, go check out the other videos. But Eddie Hearn's been catching this smoke lately, man. And you know what I'm saying? Hey, what goes around comes around. What I mean by that is what comes up must go down, and what goes down must come up, man. It's a cycle. This is how life goes. I'm talking about stocks. We're talking about finances, real estate. Or you talking about just, nigga, your love life. It must go up, and at some point it'll go back down, and it'll go back up. That's just how the world goes. You know what I'm saying? Your feelings, your emotions. One day you feel great, the next day you don't. That's just how life is. And I remember at some point, or at one point I should say, Eddie Hearn could do no wrong, man. Eddie Hearn was killing in the boxing game, man. And I continued to give him his props for a good like two straight years. I said, man, he should be promoted of the year. He's killing the game. But I will say this, man. I think ever since he signed Canelo, he's done some great things in reference to what he's put together with Canelo, but everything outside of that, I think he's been having little struggles. Right? I won't say struggles because I'm like, this is the outside looking in, but he hasn't been as successful as far as, branching out, grabbing fighters from the U.S. or grabbing outside fighters that we don't really know about and started making names for him and making us pay attention. He was really good at that at one point. When he got the Canelo project, it almost seemed like everything revolved around Canelo. Now, why am I saying this? Why am I talking about that? Because also AJ too, of course, because AJ is the topic of the conversation. But I actually also think him getting Canelo hindered AJ as well, because it was almost at when he got Canelo, AJ had that L on his record, and it seemed like a lot of the resources went to Canelo. Because if me personally, I think the cash cow, the guy who's on top when it comes to anyone associated with Eddie Hearn and DAZN, it's not AJ, it's Canelo. That's my personal opinion. If you guys want to argue with me about that, please, all day, drop it in the comments below. But with all that being said, man, catching more smoke. You feel me? We're talking about show. Bob Arum has some words. Frank Warren setting deadlines. What am I talking about? What's the specifics? Let's get into it, okay? Now, before I get into it, please show your boy some love, man. Hit the like button below. Subscribe to the channel. You feel me? Road to 5K before the end of the year. Notification gang. Comment. Let me know what y'all thinking so I know how to respond. You feel me? So now that's out the way. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Bob Arum says, we don't think Hearn wants the Fury-Joshua fight because Fury will knock Joshua out. And it's coming from boxing.com. So let's go ahead and get into this, and let's see specifically what Bob Arum had to say when it comes to this. You know what I'm saying? And remember too, I want to add this in as well so people have kind of a understanding of where this may be resonating from. Frank Warren came out earlier today as well saying, yo, we're giving them until the end of the week to at the very least give us a verbal agreement. We would really like a contract signed back by the end of the week. But Frank Warren's like, look, we'll be good with a verbal agreement. We can allow them to kind of, if we want to, discuss some more details of the contract, change some things up, that's fine. But we need a verbal agreement. So as of now, it seems like Frank Warren and Bob Arum are putting pressure on Eddie Hearn and his team to be like, yo, we need to, like, yo, if you really want this to happen, give us some type of assurance that it is going to happen, okay? And I believe the reason why they're doing it because they have Derek Chisora waiting in the back. They know, like, yo, we can make this AJ fight, but if we don't get the AJ fight, or if he doesn't want to do it, we'll just go with Derek Chisora, and we're still gonna make a lot of money. We're still gonna make a lot of money. Tyson Fury's still gonna be in a position where he can fight Deontay Wilder again. He's still going to be in a position he can fight the winner of Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. He's still going to be in the position he can fight Usyk. Like, there's so many options. He's going to be in a position if he wants, he can fight Andy Ruiz. So Tyson Fury has all the power here, right? And it's interesting to me because a lot of people come at, Terrence Crawford, say a lot of different things about him. But it's like AJ and his team is in a position where it's like, it's either say yes or say no. And what I mean by that is, if he says no to Tyson Fury, he may not get that fight ever again. This might be his only chance to get Tyson Fury fight. But he still has that Deontay Wilder fight that he can maybe possibly still get. He could possibly get the Andy Ruiz 2 fight if it's worth it to him. And he could possibly face the winner of Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce, especially if Joseph Parker beats Joe Joyce. We can see Joseph Parker versus AJ too. So AJ does have options, but the options that he's presented with don't lead to the belt. And so it all comes down to really where AJ and his team want to be at. We know AJ just, signed a huge deal with his own Matchroom Boxing. He's getting like percentages. Like, bruh's making money out the ass when it comes to the deal he has. So he really doesn't have to fight or box anymore. He really doesn't have to be like, oh yeah, I have, championship aspirations, or I need to be undisputed at heavyweight. He really doesn't have to do that anymore because he's made more money than any heavyweight who is doing, who wants to do that or have that on their resume when they're undisputed, etc. He's made buku amount of money with him never being undisputed, and he will continue to. If he cannot fight for a belt again, he'll make a crazy amount of money. So this would have to come down to just, I want to take a chance and I'm going to fight the best. But let's get into it. Bob Arum, since Eddie Hearn generally wants Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury next. Representatives for Hearn's Matchroom Boxing and Frank Warren's Queensberry Promotions have discussed at length Fury defending his WBC heavyweight title against Joshua on December 3rd at Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wallace. Warren revealed recently that if their complicated deal isn't complete, Warren revealed recently that if their complicated deal isn't completed by the end of the week, that he and Arum, whose company Top Rank Inc. co-promotes Fury, will move on to another opponent for their franchise fighter. So, a little different than when I reported. They are reporting they want the deal signed. They want it completed. I personally think if they get a verbal agreement, a verbal okay, good to go, I think they would extend it. I think this is kind of just trying to put pressure on Eddie Hearn and AJ's side as negotiations. According to Bob Arum, old man Bob, that's exactly what Hearn wants to happen. We've been exchanging documents with Matchroom. Old man Bob told BoxingScene.com on Wednesday. We don't think that Hearn wants to make that fight. We really don't think he wants to make that fight. We're giving him every opportunity to make it, and if we can't make it very shortly, Fury will have to fight somebody else. We have another opponent lined up, and I promise you it's Derek Chisora. Old man Bob didn't identify the second option for Fury. But he did went on to say, I think Hearn knows, like most boxing people know, that all things being equal, that Fury will just knock Joshua out. Joshua's very suspect now, and he's very tentative, and he's still a draw. So why would you want to cash in on your draw card? So I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's just fucking around with the Warrens. We talk with the Warrens every day because we're partners on Fury, but we're letting them carry the ball. Yeah, he's not, like, I can understand where he's coming from with that. Like, where he's basically saying, like I said, if AJ loses to Tyson Fury, his options are limited in the sense of he's lost to Usyk for the belt, and then he lost to Tyson Fury for the belt. So him getting another chance at the belt is a long run, unless Deontay Wilder comes and smokes Usyk, and then he can fight Wilder for the belt, or Usyk goes along, makes a mistake, fights someone where he loses the belt, or Fury fights Derek Chisora, he loses the belt. That's the only way AJ will have a chance at the belt again if he loses to Fury. Taking the Fury fight and losing, he's basically, he's out of there when it comes to any type of title shots. All that's really left for him is, a fight with Deontay Wilder. Other than that, everything else is like, well, what are you still fighting for, AJ? So I'm pretty sure him and his team know that. Where, on the other hand, he can say, well, I'm not going to fight you, Fury. He can wait and he can get the Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce winner. He can try and get the Andy Ruiz fight. He can try and make a Luis Ortiz versus him fight. Like he has a lot more options outside of Fury, which it may not, obviously it won't be as big a fight against Fury, but it will be a positive. It'll add on to his longevity if he avoids Fury, because he can basically take, a fight at the end of the year if he wants, or even if he doesn't, he can have 2 or 3, gimme fights next year, or, fights against, somewhat notable names, win those both. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Now we have, Wilder versus Usyk lined up. Fury knocked out, Chisora, and Fury's available. Andy Ruiz needs a dance partner. The winner of Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce needs a dance Parker. Daniel Dubois is calling people out. Anderson is coming up in the ranks. All these different guys, like Joe Joyce has a plethora. Big Baby Miller is supposed to be back in the game in the name next year. Like, there's so much more options for AJ to revitalize his career. And extend his longevity if he doesn't take a Tyson Fury fight. If he takes that Tyson Fury fight now, he's betting it all. They're putting all their chips on the table. They have to win that fight for him to continue to be AJ, in the next coming years. If he loses, he's done. But if he wins, he's astronomically, put above what he could ever do if he avoids the fight and he decides to go on that little streak like I was talking about and fight these, a little bit lesser known fighters, but, getting the W, building himself up. So he has a chance, and he can argue like, yeah, well, I lost to Usyk, but I never lost to Fury, and Fury has the belt. Wilder, he came in, he beat Usyk. So there's a lot more options for AJ not taking this fight. Let's be 100. And I do agree with Old Man Bob. Old Man Bob usually makes great points, and I agree with him on that. So Fury went on to say whoever Fury fights will sell an arena in England, and even talking to Fury himself, because that's a typo. This is a typo. This is from Warren. This is Frank Warren. Whoever Fury fights will sell out arena in England. What Frank Warren said, and even talking to Fury himself, because he's looking at the long picture. He wants to get exposed. He's a big attraction in the United States. He's a huge attraction in the UK, and he wants to play on that. That's the only problem with Tyson Fury though. Right now, he can't fight in the States, so that's going to be a hiccup that I'm going to be interested to see how they get over. Obviously, Saudi Arabia is probably going to be the way to go, but the fact that he can't fight in the States now, that's a big deal for the WBC champion, the franchise champion. He's not going to wait around for crazy money from Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry, I said the franchise champion. I didn't mean that. I meant the lineal champion. I mean, that's not good for boxing fans. Occasionally if you do a fight in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, or Qatar, it's okay, but you don't just sit around and wait for the opponent to fight. That's not good. It's not good for the sport. So what do you guys think about that particular report? You guys more on Bob Arum and Frank Warren's side? Are you more on Hearn's side? Anything I said makes sense to you? Let's be 100. I'm just going to ask you the question straight out. Do you think this fight happens? Does Anthony Joshua versus Fury happen before the end of the year? Me personally, I don't think it happens. If I'm Anthony Joshua, I'm Eddie Hearn, I'm Matchroom, I'm DAZN, man, we don't need to do this. The heavyweight division is way too hot for you to fight Usyk, lose to him twice, and then fight Fury and possibly lose to him and get you totally out of it. Man, you already fought Usyk twice. Use that as a badge of honor, and then let's go pick the winner of Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker, or let's see if we can get that Andy Ruiz fight. If we can't get the Andy Ruiz fight, let's talk and see if we can get the Luis Ortiz fight. There's too many names right now that we can take where we have to just jump right back into the fire and possibly, change your trajectory from being kind of like here to just here. You know what I'm saying? So that's my personal opinion. What do you guys think? Y'all agree with me or disagree with me? Excuse me on some of the, the connection problems a little bit earlier. Y'all know how it goes. It's part of the game. When you do this shit, bullshit happens. But show your love below, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Road to 5K notification gang. You already know what it is. I gotta know your opinion. I gotta know what you guys think. So please comment on the Sports Nigga side of the game. I'll be back with more boxing. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Stay blessed, not stressed. I'm out for now, but I'll be back.